Hi students, welcome back to another video session related to database management system, that is entity relationship model. So this is unit 2. So ERM, okay, entity relationship model. In the previous classes, we are already discussed about some fundamental concepts related to the database management system, like what is data, what is information, what is metadata, what is database, what are the objectives of database, what are the structure of DBMS, okay, so what are the file system, so that related to the database management system. And so what are the data models we have, all these concepts are discussed in the previous sessions. So now I would like to discuss about one of the important data model is entity relationship model. Okay, so what is entity relationship model? So entity relationship model is a high level conceptual data model diagram. Okay, it is a high level conceptual. What is the meaning of conceptual? Means the entire database can be represented with the help of entity relationship model. Entity relationship model helps to analyze data requirements systematically to produce well-designed database. Okay, so it produces the well-designed database with the help of entity relationship model. The entity relationship model represents real-world entities. Okay, it represents the real-world entities and relationship between them. Okay, so the number of entities and their relationships can be represented with the help of entity relationship model. Okay, next. Entity relationship diagrams are visual tool which is used to represent the ER model. Okay, so ERD. So what is ERD? Entity relationship diagram. Entity relationship diagram. So the entity relationship diagram can be used as a visual tool which is used to represent the ER model. Okay, so it is proposed by Peter Chen. So the ER diagrams can be proposed by Peter Chen in 1971. In 1971. So it can be represented to create a uniform convention which can be used for relational database and networks. So the mainly used for relational entity relationship diagram is to represent the database. Okay, so the logical database representation can be done with the help of ERD. So the ER diagram displays the number of entities and data stored in the database. Okay, so the ER diagrams can be used to represent the data within the database. And another important one is the ER diagram helps to represent logical structure of the database. So that explains how the number of tables and their relationships are represented internally, that can be explained with the help of ERD. Okay, an ER diagram looks like a flowchart. It looks like a flowchart. So already you know about flowchart. Flowchart contains a number of symbols. So all these symbols are represented which has some meaning. So in the ER diagrams we have some symbols. So for entity, for attribute and relationship we have some symbols. Okay, so however in ERD we have some specialized symbols used to represent the database. Okay, so and an ER diagram allows you to draw database design. So to design a database with the help of ERD. It is an easy graphical tool for modeling data. So it is a graphical tool which is used to represent the data with the help of ER diagrams. So the ER diagram used in database design, very important now. So when and where we use the database ER diagrams with the help of database design. Okay, so it is a graphical tool to represent the logical structure of the database. Okay, already know. So it is a graphical tool to represent the logical structure of the database. It helps to identify the entities which exist in the system and relationship between the entities. Okay, so within the entities, between the entities, it can be explained with the help of ERD. So why you use ERD? Why? So what are the reasons used the ER diagrams? The ER diagram helps to identify the terms related to database. Okay, and it is a tool to present the database, and it is a tool to represent the database. Okay, and it helps to preview of how all the tables should connect. Okay, so it gives the preview of the entire database and it gives the blueprint of the database. Okay, so with the help of ER diagram to represent the database logically. So the logical structure of the database can be represented with the help of ER diagrams. And the next one is some symbols used in the ER diagram. Okay, so what are the symbols used in the ER diagram? So one is a rectangle, another one is ellipse, next rhombus or diamond symbol. So these symbol represents the entity. This symbol represents attribute. This symbol represents relationship. Okay, so rectangle is used for defining the entity. So this is for attribute. This is for relationship. Okay, so what are the components of the entity relationship diagrams? The basic building blocks of the ER diagrams. Okay. The basic building blocks of the ER diagrams are one is entity, attribute, and another one is relationship. So entity, attribute, and relationship. So what is entity? Okay, so entity is a real world object. So an entity is a real world object. That is a person, place, thing, event, object, concept. We call it as an entity. Okay, so a person, place, thing, or anything in the real world, we call it as an entity. Okay, an entity can be represented by the symbol rectangle. An entity can be represented by the symbol rectangle. So every entity has a name. The name is indicated indicated inside the rectangle. Okay, so for example, person. Okay, so I have to take a person's employee. Employee is a person. So student is a person. Patient is a person. That's why employee, student and patient, all these are entities. Okay, so employee. So employee is an entity. Okay. Doctor is an entity. Okay. So an entity can be represented by the simple rectangle. So every entity has a name. The name is indicated inside the rectangle. Okay. And next one. So what are the types? What is meant by entity set? Another definition related to entity. What is entity set? An entity set is a group of similar kind of entities. For example, when I am taking student entity, it contains the student information. Okay, it contains the student information. All the set of students, we call it as an entity set. It may contain entities with attributes sharing similar values. It can share the similar values of data. Entities are represented by their properties called attributes. Every entity has some properties. For example, employee. Employee has some properties. Employee ID. What are the properties of the employee? Employee ID, employee name, employee qualification, employee designation. All these are the properties of the employee. And student. Student has some properties. So student roll number or student ID, student name, student address, student marks, student email ID. All these are the properties of the student. We call it as an attributes. Okay. All attributes have the separate values. So we are not taking similar values. We are taking separate values. Every attribute has a separate value. So in a student entity having name, age and class. Okay. So we call it as an entity set. Okay. And next, what are the types of entities? Okay, there are two types of entities. What are the types of entities? There are two types of entities. One is strong entity and weak entity. Okay, so strong entity and weak entity. What is strong entity? An entity that does not depend on another entity, we call it as a strong entity. So what is a strong entity? An entity does not depend on another entity. We call it as strong entity. For example, student. I'm taking one example. Student takes course. Student takes course. Here, student is a person. Okay, course is an event and takes. The correcting word is takes. These two are the entities. Okay. I am using symbols student, course. Okay, what is the relationship between these two? This is the relationship symbol. So both are connected. Okay, so takes. This is the here representation. Okay, here representation. Student takes course. Okay, so here student is the strong entity and course is the weak entity. That is, the strong entity can be represented by the symbol rectangle. Weak entity can be represented by the symbol double rectangle. Okay, so strong entity can be represented by the symbol single rectangle. Weak entity can be represented by double rectangle. Why we take course as a weak entity? Okay, so if you run any one of the course, the students may involve in that course. If the course having no students, then the course cannot be offered. Okay, so that's why the student is the strong entity here and the course is the weak entity. Okay, strong entity and weak entity. So the student does not depends on another entity. The student does not depends on the course. Okay, and next one, weak entity. What is a weak entity? What is weak entity? An entity that depends on another entity, we call it as weak entity. An entity depends on another entity, we call it as weak entity. Okay, strong entity means that it does not depend on another entity, we call it as a strong entity. A weak entity that depends on another entity, we call it as weak entity. So already we are taking weak entity course here. Okay, so course completely depends on the student. Okay, and next one more example. Customer borrows loan. Customer borrows loan. Okay, so here customer is a strong entity. Here customer is a strong entity and loan is a weak entity. So customer is a strong entity and loan is the weak entity. So the customer borrows loan. So if the loan is running, compulsorily any one of the customer involved in that loan. So that's why loan is the weak entity and customer is the strong entity. Okay, so there are two types of entities. One is the strong entity and next one is the weak entity. A strong entity that has a primary key, that's very important. Okay, a strong entity has a primary key and weak entity does not have primary key. Okay, so the primary key concept can be explained you later. Okay, so a strong entity has a primary key, next weak entity does not have a primary key. Okay, strong and weak entities. Okay, and next one. Attribute. Another component is attribute. What is meant by attribute? Properties or characteristics of an entity, we call it as attributes. For example, student. Okay, student. Student is the entity. Every student has some properties. Okay, so what are the properties of a student? Student ID, student name, student address, student phone number, student email ID. All these are the attributes of the student. Okay, the properties are characteristics of an entity. Okay, next, an attribute can be represented by the symbol ellipse. An attribute can be represented by the symbol ellipse. So all these attributes can be represented only in the ellipse symbol. Okay, so for example, I am taking student and taking student entity. I am writing some attributes. So student ID. Okay, so this is the key element. Student ID, student name, group, student address. Okay, so these are some of the attributes of the student. So the entity and the attribute can be connected by a line. Okay, so this is the representation of the entity. Okay, every entity has some attributes. So these are the attributes of the entity student. Okay, so next one, domain, very important. Domain. Every attribute has a domain. Every attribute has a domain. What is the meaning of domain? Means the possible values of an attribute. Possible values of an attribute, we call it as a domain. Okay, so domain means what? Possible values of an attribute. For example, I am taking the attribute gender. I am taking the attribute gender. Okay, gender has two possible values. What are they? Male, female. Okay, two possible values. We call it as a domain. Okay, so domain is nothing but the possible values of an attribute. Okay, next one. Types of attributes. Okay, types of attributes. The attributes can be classified based upon the structure and based upon the value. Okay, the attribute can be divided into two parts. One is based upon the structure and based upon the value. Okay. So based on the values, the attribute can be classified into single valued attribute, multi-valued attribute, derived attribute and null attribute. Okay, so based upon the value, the attribute can be classified into four types. One is single valued attribute, multi-valued attribute, derived attribute, null attribute. Based upon the structure, it can be classified into simple attribute and composite attribute. Okay, simple attribute and composite attribute. So let us discuss one by one. Okay, what is single valued attribute? Okay, the attribute that contains only single value, we call it as a single valued attribute. An attribute that contains a single value. For example, student ID. So every student has only one ID. No multiple IDs are allowed in a college or school. Okay, so only one ID can be allowed here. Okay, that means it is a single valued attribute. Okay, next one. Car registration number. It is a single valued attribute. Okay, registration number. Next one. A single valued attribute can be represented by the symbol ellipse. Okay, single valued attribute can be represented by the symbol ellipse. Next one. Multi-valued attribute. An attribute that takes multiple values. Okay, so the multi-valued attribute can be represented by the symbol double ellipse. Double ellipse symbol. For example, course. So code has number of values. Okay, BSc, BCom, BBA, okay, BZC, MBBS. All these are the courses. It contains multiple values that we call as multi-valued attribute. So only single value it can take, we call it as single valued attribute. Multiple values that can take multi-valued attribute. Next one. Derived attribute. Derived attribute means if you know the value of one attribute, we have to know the value of another attribute. Okay? So for example, so derived attribute can be represented by dotted ellipse. Okay, dotted ellipse. Single value can be represented by a single ellipse. Multi-valued attribute can be represented by double ellipse, and derived attribute can be represented by the symbol dotted ellipse. Okay, so derived attribute, for example, age. If you know the age of a person, first you know the date of birth of that person. Okay, so the age is derived from where? Date of birth. Okay, that's why age is called as derived attribute. Next one. Null attribute. Okay, so null attribute is a special case which is used to represent the null values. Okay, so it has some cases. Okay, so where we can apply the null attribute in two cases. One is not applicable and not known situation. Okay, so only these two situations we can apply null attribute, that is not applicable situation and not known situation. If you don't know the person's phone number, just we fill that area using null. Okay, so no problem. One is not applicable situation and another one is the not known situation. Okay, so these are all the classified based upon the values: single valued attribute, multi-valued attribute, derived attribute, and another one is the null attribute. And next one, based upon the structure. based upon the structure, it can be classified into two types. One is a simple attribute and next one is the composite attribute. Okay, what is a simple attribute? An attribute that cannot be divided further, we call it as a simple attribute. An attribute that cannot be divided further. Okay, for example, student ID. So the student ID cannot be break into two parts. Okay, we call it as a simple attribute. Next, composite attribute. What is the meaning of composite attribute? An attribute that can be divided further, we call it as a composite attribute. For example, address. An address can be divided number of attributes like door number, street, pin code, city. Okay, so the type of attributes are called composite attributes that cannot be divided further. We call it as simple attribute. So the attribute can be classified into two types based upon the value. The values are single valued attribute, multi-valued attribute, derived attribute and null attribute. So based upon the structure, the attributes are classified into simple attribute and next one is the composite attribute. Okay, and next one. Relationship. What is relationship? The association between or among the entities, we call it as a relationship. So the third component is relationship. What is relationship? The association between or among the entities, we call it as a relationship. Okay, so the relationship can be represented by the symbol diamond symbol or rhombus. This is the relationship symbol. And relationship symbol can be represented by the symbol rhombus. Okay, so already we have discussed previous. So I am taking one example. Student takes course. Student takes course. Here, student is an entity, course is an entity. Takes is the connecting word between these two entities. Okay, this is a verb. This is a verb form. Okay, that's why we are taking it as relationship. Okay, we take it as a relationship. So one is student. Student takes course. Student takes course. Okay, student takes course. A student can take many courses. Okay, a student can take many courses. So relationships are divided into three types. Okay, so there are three types of relationships. One is one-to-one relationship, one to many relationship, many to many relationship. So one-to-one relationship. So what is one-to-one relationship? For example, country has one capital. One to one. Every country has only one capital. We can denote it as one to one relationship. Okay. And next one to many relationship. Okay. So one to many. One entity can be maintained many relationships. Okay, so what is one to many? Department having staff. So each department has number of staff members. So one department having number of staff members. Okay. And next example of one to many is employee having skills. Every employee has number of skills. We take it as a one to many relationship. So one to one relationship, one to many relationship. And next one, many to many relationship. So employee has many skills having many employees. Okay. So what is the example of many to many relationship? Employee have skills. Okay, employee have skills. Every employee has many skills. Every employee has many skills. Many skills having many employees. So many to many representation. Okay. So there are three types of relationships: one to one relationship, one to many relationship, many to many relationship. Okay. So we have mainly three types of components to represent the ER diagrams. One is entity, another one is attribute, and another one is relationship. Entity, it is a real world object. That means a person, place, thing or anything in the real world, we call it as an entity. Entities are two types. What are they? One is strong entity, weak entity. Strong entity can be represented by the single rectangle. Weak entity can be represented by the symbol double rectangle. Okay. Strong entity that it does not depend on another entity, we call it as a strong entity. That it depends on another entity, we call it as weak entity. And next one, attribute. What is attribute? Means the properties are characteristics of an entity. Every attribute has some domain. What is the meaning of domain? The possible values of an attribute, we call it as a domain. So the attributes can be classified into two types based upon the value, based upon the structure. Based upon the value, the attributes can be classified into single valued attribute, multi-valued attribute, derived attribute and null attribute. Based upon the structure, the attribute can be classified into simple attribute, and next one is a composite attribute. Next one, relationship. What is relationship? Means the association between or among the entities, we call it as a relationship. And relationship can be represented by the symbol diamond or rhombus symbol. Okay, and next one, and the next one, degree of relationship. Okay, so what is the meaning of degree here? Okay, so the number of entities that can be participated in a relationship is called as degree of relationship. Okay, so the number of entities, okay, if one entity is participated, we call it as a unary relationship. Two entities are participated, we call it as binary relationship. Three entities are participated, we call it as a ternary relationship. Four entities are participated, we call it as a quaternary relationship. Okay, so what are the degrees of relationships? There are four types of degrees of relationships. One is unary, binary, ternary, quaternary. Okay, quaternary. So degree of relationship. What is degree of relationship? So the number of entities participated in a relationship, we call it as degree of relationship. So unary. Okay, so only one entity is participated. Okay, so the unary relationship is also called as recursive relationship. Okay, unary relationship is also known as recursive relationship. That means a relationship itself, we call it as an unary relationship. Okay, so unary relationship, another name is recursive relationship. Recursive. A relationship itself is called the recursive relationship. For example, person, okay, person. So this is the relationship. This is an entity. Only one entity here participated. That's why we called it as a unary relationship. So here always the person is married to another person. Always it is in a recursive manner. Okay. So this is the labels. Okay. These two are called labels in the recursive relationship. So only one entity that can be participated, we call it as a unary relationship. Okay, and next one, binary. The number of entities participated in a relationship is 2, we call it as binary. So 2 entities are participated here. Okay, so staff is assigned to department. For example, I am taking staff is assigned to department. So here staff is an entity. Okay, department is an entity. And the connecting code is assigned to. Is assigned. Okay, here 2 entities are participated in this relationship. Okay, we call it as a binary. Here 1 entity is participated, we call it as a unary. Here 2 entities are participated, call it as a binary relationship. Okay, next one, ternary. So what is ternary relationship? Here, three entities are participated in a relationship. We call it as a ternary relationship. Three entities are participated. For example, employee is assigned to project. Employee is assigned to a project. Here three entities are participating. So one is employee and another one is the project and another one is the location. Of course, location is not presented in this example, but the employee project can be assigned to more than one project. Okay, the employee is assigned to more than one project, different locations. Okay, so employee is assigned to project. Okay, so one employee, one project, one location. Okay, so project is assigned to employee is assigned to a project, some location. Okay, this is called ternary relationship. Only one entity participated, we call it as unary. Two entities are participated, we are called binary. Three entities are participated, we call it as ternary. And four entities are participated, we call it as quaternary relationship. Okay, so four entities are participated. What is the structure here? So the structure is this is the structure of the quaternary relationship. Okay, so unary, binary, ternary and the quaternary. So here four types of relationships are presented. We call it as quaternary relationship. I hope you are understanding this concept. Thank you.